Hi, this is Deborah. Today I wanted to talk about my siblings and where I grew up and things like that. Uh, I don't want to say their names because they may not want to be associated with YouTube, so I will just give them numbers. I'm number one because I'm the oldest, okay? Uh, and yes, one of my YouTube subscribers wanted to know if I've always had blonde hair. No, I've always had dark brown hair and brown eyes, and I've done a lot of videos about this. When I turned 60, I got so tired of coloring my hair every 12 days that I decided to lighten it. I lit it up, bleached it up in 3 different stages, and I used Olaplex. But yes, I am a natural dark brown with brown eyes. And this is because I'm old. Yeah. So my number 2 sister, she's passed. Her quality of life was not well. It was not good. And she gave us all a little time to mourn her and to go visit her before she did pass. And she was 2 years younger, and she was a natural blonde with blue eyes. Then my number 3 sister is very much alive, and she's a very hard worker. And she was always petite when she was growing up. We used to swing her around. She was so little. Then number 4 is my brother. I only have one brother, and he has been a great source of strength for me, especially since my divorce. He actually went to the hospital on my first surgery when I had my spinal fusion, because I have 6 rods in my back, and the rods are this long. I mean, they are so long, I couldn't believe that is holding me up. And when I was just getting ready to get operated on, they asked him to wipe down my backside because they assumed he was my husband. No, because I was in the middle of divorce during this. He goes, "No, I'm not going to do that. This is my sister." So he just ran out of the room. I had to wipe down my own backside. But my brother has many children and many, many grandchildren. I envy him in a way because I only have 2 grandchildren. And then number 5 is my little sister, but she's not so little. She's almost like 5'11", I believe. She's the tallest, or maybe my brother is. And she has 4 children that are beautiful. They are so beautiful that one of them could have been a model with, no problem. And she's disabled. And then my sister that's passed is disabled, and then I'm disabled. And so I have 2 siblings that are not, or they haven't just filed. They haven't filed yet. But, so my best memories were in Winchester. My father owned a 300-acre farm, and he had the ability to buy Tyson's Corner, but he went into the Army, and I mean, it was such a ridiculous cheap price. If he had just bought that, oh my God, we would have been set for life. But he did buy 300 acres in Winchester, and he actually was a chicken fighter, and of course that's against the law. And I remember as a little girl seeing stacks of money and huge piles of dead chickens, and yeah, he even had a professional chicken fighting rink when I was a little girl. He was always into that. I'm sure my mother didn't like it, but yeah, I just thought that was kind of cool. But now that I'm older, I think it's kind of awful. So don't leave no comments about that because he's passed. Okay. Now, then I moved to the city. Yeah, but when I lived in Winchester as a little girl, I used to walk 2 miles to a store. I used to ride bareback, a horse bareback, with no saddle. I mean, at full gallop. I can't imagine even getting on a horse now. But then we moved to the big city, and that's when everything changed. I liked living in Winchester because there was no phones. I think we did have a TV finally, but most of the time we didn't have running water, and we had no bathroom, because if you don't have running water, you can't have a bathroom. So yeah, we had a two-holer in the backyard, a chamber pot. If you don't know what a chamber pot is, Google it. And we had a horse that was always kicking my mother. We had a rabbit pen. I remember my mother getting a .22 out and shooting the foxes or skunks that was in the rabbit pen. And let's see, we did have sheep, because I remember shearing sheep, or watching the guys shear the sheep. Let's see. We never saw anybody except the mailman, and back then you could put pennies in your mailbox, real money, and they would leave you stamps. You can't do that nowadays. I remember being hungry too. I remember being hungry there, and my father did plant an apple orchard, because Winchester's known for apples. Those were the best times of my life. We had no interference, no electronics. And my father would work in the big city, then come home on the weekends. I remember going to see Pinocchio at the drive-in theater in Winchester, and that movie scared me to death. So then we moved to the big city and Northern Virginia, and my life just changed. I remember having a consultation with my principal in 3rd grade, telling him how much I did not like his school. And he says, well, what's wrong with it? And I said, well, in Winchester, my bus driver would stop at the country store so we could get a Hershey bar. And in this big city, they don't do that. I'm sure he chuckled. He even called my mom and said I was like very spirited. Oh, let's see. In 4th grade, I got developed. Let me tell you what. I'm a 38D now, and I was very well endowed in 4th grade. Yeah, and then when I came in with a bra, all the other girls came in with stuffed bras. I thought that was quite funny. Then let's see. I got married when I was 18, and my father had a heart attack a couple years after that, and so he had to retire into the Northern Neck. Now, if you don't know what the Northern Neck is, I'll try to explain it. If you look at a map of Virginia, there's this little piece that comes out at the top right. That's the Northern Neck. It's from King George all the way to Kilmarnock and Whitestone. That whole thing is the Northern Neck. And a lot of police officers and firemen, they come and they retire in the Northern Neck. It is, most houses are on the water. It is a beautiful place, and no traffic at all. So then when my father had his heart attack, we would come down and visit him, and we'd grown to love this area, so we bought a little house in a place called Maratica, and that's where I raised my children, and I have very good memories there, because that was a time when your kids could walk around the block and you didn't have to worry about them getting kidnapped, because we lived in a community where it was just one big circle. So if anybody came in there, you were definitely noticed. But yeah, I'm sure that they adored their childhood there. And let's see. So I will stop the video there and maybe continue the rest another time. Thank you for watching.